my wife got me the coolest chair. Look at this chair. Isn't this great? I had to move all of my Canker, like right here was where all the Canker Boy boxes were stocked before. Now they are over in that corner, back behind the thing. So like just out of the shot, it's all my Canker Boy boxes. But no, so like this year is my 10th wedding anniversary, and we're gonna take a trip, and I spent all this money on the house, you know, fixing it up and everything, as I filled you guys in on. And I guess my wife just kind of felt like doing something nice for me, because we weren't really gonna get each other gifts. We were gonna travel a little bit. That was gonna be our gift. And I came home one day, and she has this. Isn't it great? I love it. And it's like adult furniture too. This is real leather. This is real leather, and it smells. It's got that leather smell. So I thought I would sit over here and talk to you about something, because yesterday's video was a real bummer, and I appreciate all the comments that I got. I got a lot of positive response here, and literally 99% of the time I'm perfectly fine and everything's good, and I know I'm on the right track, and I feel good about things. Just, you know, every once in a while I have a moment like that, and I just felt like being real and sharing it with you. Hello, Joey. I was being real and sharing things. Now I'm being real and sharing you. Oh, who's the precious puppers? She's going to make an appearance in Monday's video, by the way. Keep an eye out for her. But no, so I had a conversation this morning. I won't go too much into detail about it because it's involving things that haven't really happened yet. But it was basically with a lawyer, a YouTube lawyer. It doesn't sound bad. It sounds like I'm suing somebody at YouTube. I'm not suing YouTube or anything like that. I have some contracts that were brought my way. I wanted him to look it over. So let's just leave it at that. But anyway, I was telling him about, you know, the slump the channel's been in lately, as I've talked to you guys about. It's just, you know, I'm just trying to get my head around it. And have you ever had one of these moments? You could call it an aha moment, a eureka moment, whatever, but like somebody points something out to you and you just can't believe that never occurred to you. You know, like it just never occurred to you, and you're like, how did I not see that? That's the moment that I had this morning as we were in our conversation. I mentioned, you know, I had this gigantic march, and then, you know, the bottom fell out in May, and he was kind of like, yeah, that tends to happen. And basically what it boils down to, I won't completely try to quote him, but what it comes down to is the algorithm in YouTube has a lot of different factors that it weighs in different ways. I heard somewhere one time that like YouTube never adds more metrics, but they weigh the metrics differently. And that's basically what the algorithm changes are. And not to say that there was an algorithm change, but basically one of the factors that goes into that algorithm is percentage of subscriber engagement. And so it's just a math thing. When I, back in February, hit 100,000 subscribers, let's just say I had 30,000 of those 100,000 subscribers that were active subscribers, that were engaged, that clicked on every single video that came in. You know, there's some videos there's some people that follow the channel that no matter what it is I post, they'll watch it because they just kind of like what I do. And then there's a lot of others that, the majority of them, are more casual. You know, they might have followed my channel because they liked a specific video, or they, you know, thought I covered interesting topics. And it's like, if it's a topic that they're interested in, they'll click and follow, you know, or click and watch the video. So, long story short, let's say back in February when I had 100,000, I had 30,000 that were engaged in that way. And the AC goes off. Maybe it'll sound better now. But anyway, so then I have this gigantic march, and I add 50,000 people. I mean, I went from 100,000 in February to 180,000 now. That's almost doubled. And let's say about 60,000 of those really came from that big march. So the majority of this new amount came from that. These are going to be newer subscribers. These are going to be people who ran across this video that exploded for whatever reason and went ahead and subscribed. And they aren't the people that have been with the channel for a while and have built up sort of a relationship with and have built up a trust with. So these are not the people that are going to be the most engaged. So basically I went from, let's just say, again, I'm just playing with numbers, 100,000 with 30,000 that are engaged. I am now at 180,000 with maybe between 30 and 40,000 that are still engaged. So that percentage went from 30% down to like 16%. So it basically went in half, my percentage of engagement. So that factors into the algorithm. And then YouTube says, I mean, YouTube doesn't say anything. There's nobody that thinks anything. It's just some numbers and formulas. But in the formula, basically, YouTube says, oh, people aren't engaging with this. People aren't that interested in this. So we'll throttle it back. And that's what happened. It would be great if YouTube could factor that kind of thing into their algorithm so that somebody who has a big jump, somebody that has a good channel and is doing well, doesn't get punished when they have an explosive, kind of growth moment like that. But I feel like all the way up until that happened, I was having a really good steady growth curve. Everything was good. And I could see now, thinking back, like, yeah, as it was growing sort of organically, and all the people that were kind of coming in, they would become more engaged, and they would they kind of added to that algorithm, and it kind of spiraled up. And then I had this boom hit, and maybe that's because, again, in the algorithm, that YouTube is like, hey, this channel's doing really well. Let's feature one of its videos or something. And then it featured a video. I had this huge explosion, and then YouTube goes, oh, that little percentage is off. We're going to have to, throttle it down. So it's weird. Again, it's YouTube giveth and YouTube taketh away. But that cheered me up a little bit, just because it's good to know what the problem is, because there are some ways that I can attack that now. And one of the ways I've got to attack it is I've got all these people who follow the channel on a sort of casual basis. I've got to get them clicking on my thumbnails now. I've got to get them to actually watch the videos when they're scrolling through their subscription feed. For whatever reason, they have not been as engaged. They haven't been seeing the topics that they like. So that means picking better, maybe more strategic topics, and that means having better thumbnails and titles. Having more enticing thumbnails and titles. So the challenge is having more enticing thumbnails and titles without getting too clickbaity, of course. But that's something I've had a lot of experience with, so it's something I can apply to it and I can work on. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. I thought I would share it with you guys because I've talked a lot about this lull, and for anybody out there who is doing YouTube and they have an explosive month, just be ready. It looks like the algorithm has to kind of correct itself, or it's got to go through a thing there after you have that growth. But I mean, the good news is I think the strategy of just continuing to put out more content eventually will pay off. Eventually, all these casual people will see. I mean, repetition, again, I come from advertising. Repetition is the name of the game. The more people see your stuff, eventually they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to click on that. Or they might say, I don't watch any of this guy's stuff. I'm just going to unsubscribe. And the funny thing is, either way, that benefits me. Like, I was actually thinking it might do my channel good to lose about 10,000 people because that percentage would go up, and then YouTube would be like, hey, let's share the stuff some more, and it'll grow more organically again. So anyway, I think it's something that will work itself out. It's just going to take a little time, and it's a little bit of a bummer. But anyway, I just thought I would share that with you guys, and I thought I would share my chair. I like it. I've already spent some hours on here, working on script stuff. I have to do editing over there, obviously. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Maybe I'll check in tomorrow. We'll see. Later.